what's up? Welcome back to an edition of the Mandatory. It's been a minute, but we're here. If you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO, and you can also see in the description on our screens the ways that you can connect with us as well on our own personal social media platforms. Now, remember, we're also on the audio side. So if you got a couple of minutes, leave a rate and review you. And you can find us wherever you find your shows, wherever you find your podcast. We're there too. Give us a 5-star. That's going to help the channel grow. And we appreciate everyone that's been rocking with us. A little bit of a different stretch as of late in terms of boxing, Brian. There hasn't been much going on. So we've been away. We've been busy, though. Both of us have been busy. And now we're back because it's a huge week in boxing, one of the biggest of the year. And we got, two of the top 3 boxers in the world that are going to be fighting. I'm not talking about Bud and Canelo. I'm talking about Bud and Inoue. Yes, we're going to be getting into both of those fights because we're going to be breaking down Terence Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and we're also going to be breaking down Inoue versus Akhmadaliev. That's happening all this weekend. Brian, isn't that nuts? Like, I would have thought they would have given Inoue his own weekend, but that's just not what it is.
Would have been nice. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of tired of like these fights falling under the radar for Inoue because again, though, he fights on a big weekend because he did this last time. It was the Times Square card. Jesus Christ. It was the Canelo fight.
Yeah.
And then Inoue on Sunday. And Inoue stole the show. Saved the weekend. Or kind of did, at least for the most part. I just ate, so I'm holding back burps right now.
Yeah, no, you were like, I was like done with my intro when you were still chewing, and I'm like, oh, I gotta talk for 20 more seconds.
So basically where we're at is like, I think Inoue, we'll talk about both fights, obviously. We'll preview them. But I think with Inoue, like, I do wish he fought next weekend because ain't shit happening next weekend. This weekend, especially for someone like me, and this may only apply to someone like me because I'm a sicko, like, the things that I care about this weekend are like endless. You have these fights. You have the WNBA playoffs starting this weekend, Sunday. You obviously have the NFL Sunday and college football for a lot of people,
Saturday,
like yourself included. It's a big weekend this weekend. You also have the finals of Eurobasket on Sunday. Gold medal and bronze medal game. Semifinals are actually going to take place Friday. I'm literally watching Georgia and Finland right now, aside from what we're doing here, obviously. All these things happening. I feel like I'm missing something, but all these things are happening on baseball.
Yeah.
The Mets are in a playoff race. You know what I mean? Like, everything's happening this weekend. So I do wish it would space out a little bit more. I hate when boxing does this too. It'll be dormant for a while. And then when they come back, it's like you're coming back at a time where everything else seems to be going on. And it's just for the consumer who cares about multiple different things. And not all boxing fans do. There are boxing fans who literally just care about boxing. And, salute to you. You might be following this channel. We care about other things because, as you see and as you hear from time to time, we'll break into football conversations. Chantelle's Raiders are 1-0.
Yeah, man, they play Monday night. They play Monday night.
And they play Monday night coming up.
Which is huge.
Hopefully Brock Bowers is healthy.
He will be. Yeah, he's healthy. It's just a little bit of a tweak there. So if there's any Raiders fans watching, he's okay. He's going to play Monday.
I got Brandon Strange just in case.
Oh, gotcha. You should. Do you have Bowers on your team?
Yes,
well, I would play him. Yeah.
No. He's yeah.
Like, I would start him.
But I just got Strange just in case,
No, I have the inside scoop. He's playing on Monday. Okay, I got the inside scoop. He's playing on Monday
for the extra day too. I'm sure that'll help. But yeah, so we'll talk about it. And also, let me ask you this: do you feel like Canelo Crawford is under promoted?
Yes.
I do feel like we're not seeing them on First Take. We have it like under promoted, not to boxing fans, because boxing fans, like, you got them. You're going to be there no matter what. But this is a crossover fight, or should be at least. And it's going to be on Netflix of all places. But I feel like we're not seeing them do like the ESPN car wash that we've seen in the past with like Tank and Ryan, for example. We're not seeing them do like any of the big shows like that they're just kind of being promoted by Ring,
Yeah.
occasional Netflix ad, and it's like that's it.
You know what? This is the least promotion I've ever seen for the fight of the decade. This is the and maybe it doesn't need the promotion and it's going to be on Netflix. I think the numbers are going to be crazy. The numbers are going to be so good for this, and I think it's great for boxing that it is on Netflix, because if you have a subscription, you're not paying like a pay-per-view fee, right? And this is the fight of the decade, y'all. And but I'm not seeing any promotion. I'm also not seeing like any, well, I live in like a very boring place where they don't like care about boxing. But I will say that, like, I'm not seeing any stuff for fight parties. Are you? You're on mute, dude. Turn off the game, man. You're
Finally
not paying
got me.
attention.
No,
Okay,
no,
yeah.
no, no, no. I was actually posting a link into a Discord channel, which you can find on my YouTube channel, in the description to my last video. So I think with the fight promotion, usually what I'll see is, and I see this often with UFC cards, restaurants where I live at. So I'm in a part of Queens where there are a bunch of restaurants, good restaurants, for example, and it's New York City, so duh. And some of these restaurants, bar and restaurant type of places, they'll have like flyers or they'll have like these different, hey, um, come watch this fight here. We're gonna be airing it, whatever, whatever. They do it for a lot of UFC events.
Yeah.
They do it for some boxing fans. They tend to do it for Canelo Alvarez fights, especially the ones in May, because they'll loop in Cinco de Mayo. So it's kind of like borderline. It's kind of borderline stereotypical, but it's like you can watch Canelo and eat tacos because we have them, at a discount or whatever. But it's kind of weird when you think about it. But I'm of the mindset like, or I was of the mindset that this would be more places, and I'm not seeing places like even around here be like, "Hey, we're airing this fight." You know what I mean? I'm not seeing it like that.
Yeah.
To your fight party point.
Yeah, it's weird. But this is huge. This is a fight that is fight party worthy. And we're going to be breaking it all down. And later on in the show, we're going to get to Inoue and Akhmadaliev. But let's get right into it, Brian. On the money line, because we have to talk about the lines as well. Canelo is a minus 180 and Terence Crawford is a plus 145. I actually like these odds. They're not far apart. And if you were taking a look at like different outcomes by stoppage, Canelo's a plus 375. Look at the odds on this though. Bud is a plus 1,000. That's crazy to me. And we're gonna break this down. But just in terms of what you think about the odds, I feel like the odds look pretty decent, to be honest with you.
We're gonna pull them up here so people can see them on screen. At the place we used to work at. Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, as you mentioned, the odds here. Now they've been moving a little bit more towards Crawford here because Alvarez was minus, I want to say 220-ish.
Oh, wow.
Something along those lines, not that long ago. But it was here before because I remember I'm not going to mention the bet yet, but if you follow along, you probably know where we're going to land on this, or at least me. I think I've made it a little more obvious. I'm not as sure where you're going to go, but I think we may agree on this.
I don't think we will.
But oh, that's interesting. Okay. I think with this, yeah, Canelo Alvarez minus 180. It was a larger number before. Terence Crawford plus 140. So I feel like he was more profitable not that long ago. I remember him being in that 160, 166 sort of range. You mentioned the group round betting. I mean, the method of victory. We can get to group round betting at some point. So here, Terence Crawford, you said plus 1,000 in another book, plus 900 here to win by stoppage. Canelo Alvarez plus 370. And I find that interesting because I almost don't know what to make of the size difference here. Like,
yeah, well, let's just get into it, right? Because we're
here.
So,
we're here.
So how do you think this fight is going to go down? And what are okay, you know what? Let's do it like this. Why don't you give your pick and then tell us why?
I bet months ago Terence Crawford to win this fight.
And why do you think Bud is going to win this fight?
I just took the money line. Now, if you remember, we'll walk this back slightly because before this fight got announced, and I was like kind of against it, and you were like, "No, it's gonna happen. Watch." And I was like, "Oh, the weight difference, whatever." And even Canelo himself, people forget this. I was there when he said this. Canelo himself, it wasn't the Williams School fight. It might have been the Edgar Berlanga fight. It was before one of these fights within the last year or so, where he said he didn't want to fight Crawford because he wasn't going to get credit for the win. And he would obviously, if he lost, it would look worse. But it was mainly because he wasn't going to get credit for beating up a guy who was so small. But we know with Canelo, like, and this is just the times we're in where like everyone at a certain profile just seems to be like just more money over everything in a brazen way than ever before. He was just like clearly trying to run up a number and trying to get the most. Like he was gonna fight Jake Paul before Turk just threw him a bag and was like, "Yo, we want to set you up with Crawford, but fight Williams School first here." And like he was clearly using either using Jake Paul as leverage or not caring him. It's like, "Yo, by the way, I think a bunch of people would have rather seen Jake Paul than Williams School." In any event, I have Terence Crawford winning this fight, and the reason why I've sort of shifted is because initially I was like, Canelo's going to be too big, but having seen Canelo kind of go sideways a little bit. Like I still think he's great, but I know the Williams School fight was at 6 a.m. But man, Terence Crawford's gonna do some of the same things School did, except he's gonna throw punches, throw more accurately, I should say, because Williams School threw punches. He nearly doubled up Canelo in terms of output. He was just whiffing at a lot of shit. But I think Terence Crawford is just better right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's one of the only dudes who can fill out properly in terms of the weight and is good enough to where it might not matter. Is good enough to where, and also he's not getting like the peak version of Canelo Alvarez. I don't think the peak version of Canelo Alvarez has been here for a while. He hasn't gotten a stoppage in several fights. He hasn't gotten a stoppage in about 4 years. And we could say Terence Crawford didn't look awesome in his last fight. I think, one, he looked better against Madrimov than Canelo did against School. Two, Madrimov is a tricky opponent. He probably actually had a draw with Virgil Ortiz after this, if not very close. So, like, Madrimov is good, like, legitimately good. He might be top 5 in that weight class. Williams School is not top 5 in his weight class. So to me, it's not like Terence Crawford's gonna whoop his ass. And I don't think it's going to be like a completely one-sided dominant ass whooping. I don't think it's going to be Errol Spence, but I just think he's better. I just think he's all around better. He's going to move. He's going to counter punch. He might retire after this too. Like, you know, and I feel like there is something to be said for, I think he's going to pour everything he fucking has into this. Not that Canelo isn't, but I think with Terence Crawford, like Terence Crawford absolutely needs to win this fight more than Canelo Alvarez does. Canelo Alvarez is good regardless of what he says or regardless of what people say about like the weight difference or whatever. Like he already has a couple losses on his record and probably should have more. Terence Crawford, like this and Spence, he's good. All-timer, doesn't need to do shit else.
Yeah. You know, for me, it's like, my heart is going one way and my mind is going the other. I think this is how the fight is going to go. I think there's going to be a lot of close rounds. I think Canelo is going to get off to the early start in this one. And I think Bud is going to win the later rounds. I think the fight goes the distance. I don't think there's going to be a stoppage in this fight.
Agree.
And what's going to happen is there's going to be so many swing rounds that we're going to get to the end of the fight and everyone's going to be saying Bud won or Canelo won. And we're going to get a controversial decision in Vegas. That's what's going to happen in this fight.
Of course.
And so it's going to be controversial. You know it. It's going to go one way or the other. It's going to be like a majority decision, a split decision. It could be a draw. It's going to be extremely controversial. There's different aspects to this fight where I'm like, I don't really want to bet on this fight. Because here's the thing.
I can see that.
You mentioned boxing is all about like, you know, quote Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Madrimov against Bud. Bud didn't hurt Madrimov. Bud was coming up from 147 to 154 in that fight. He didn't hurt Madrimov in that fight, but he won distinctively, in my opinion. He won 8 rounds of that fight. But you're moving up to 154. You don't hurt Madrimov, who is a tricky fighter, but then you're moving up 2 more weight classes, right? The one thing I'll give Bud is we know he has the power advantage, in my opinion. He has the power advantage, even though he's a smaller guy. He has the will. He has the drive. He's going to give it everything he's got. Canelo, there's questions about how much he wants it at this point, right? Like, let's be serious here. Like, his drive is not the same. He's been doing this for a minute, a little bit younger than Bud Crawford, but this is Bud's biggest fight. Like, we're talking about legacies here, right? And I think Canelo has more to lose in this fight. However, when you talk about the William School fight, it's like William School uses a lot of lateral movement, and he was running around the ring a lot. Like, that's a fight where Canelo, if you know how Canelo fights, he likes to come forward. You know, he's not like very like, he's kind of one-dimensional, to be honest, sometimes. Canelo, right? Good body puncher.
This version
Yeah.
of him, sure.
Yeah, like obviously, like he's a little bit older now, but it's like in terms of IQ and stuff, Canelo and Bud both have great IQs. But I'll say this, like Canelo's going to try to come forward. He's going to try to bully Crawford, but it's like, do you really want to bully Crawford? Because Crawford's going to try to bully you back. Like, you know, and also the one thing about it, and this is the fact where I'm like, oh, I don't know who to pick. Bud's a switch. He's a switch hitter, right? He can go to southpaw. Canelo has problems with southpaws throughout his history. He has had problems with southpaws. But here's the thing. It's like, I don't think there's going to be a stoppage. And what does Vegas love? Vegas loves Canelo. Okay. So when we talk about scorecards, we talk about work rate. I think Canelo is going to try to have a higher work rate than Bud. Bud is very, the thing about Bud is he has a good work rate as well. Both these guys don't have a crazy work rate though, right? And they are very accurate with their punches. Like Bud is a very accurate puncher. I think there's going to be a lot of swing rounds. I think this is going to be an extremely close fight. It makes me not want to bet on this fight unless I'm betting on draw or like a majority or split decision. Think the fight goes the distance. I don't think there's going to be a stoppage in this fight, but like, I don't know how to pick with those aspects of this fight, if I'm being honest with you, because I think we're going to get to the scorecards and it's going to go 2 ways. Like I'm rooting for Bud. I'll say it right here. I'm going for Bud Crawford in this fight. But I think when it comes to the scorecards in Vegas, they're going to give it to Canelo. It's going to be controversial and people are going to be like, well, Bud won because Bud has to knock out or get the stoppage against Canelo. Even if we think he won on the cards, even if we think he got it done on the cards, I hate to say it, Canelo's going to win on the cards. Okay. He's going to win on the cards unless like we see him like dominate, like how he did Spence. I don't see that happening. And also take into account, like, Canelo did drop Munguia, right? He did also drop Berlanga. Those guys are way bigger than Bud. Those guys are way bigger than Bud. And it's like the Madrimov fight, to me, I thought Bud fought well. But it's a little bit underwhelming. And then you're jumping up 2 more weight classes, and we're expecting you to hurt Canelo, but you weren't able to hurt Madrimov. There's going to be no stoppage in this fight. So it has to be done on the cards. And I just don't think they're going to give it to Bud. So, like, that's just how I see it. So if I'm placing my money, I'm definitely placing my money on a draw. They're going to make 3 fights out of this, y'all. I'm going to be honest. We'll see. They're going to make 3 fights out of this. I'm telling you right now. They're going to make the most money they've ever made, and then they're going to sail off into the sunset. So you're asking me who my pick is? In my heart, I'm going with Bud. In my mind, I'm going with Canelo. I think Canelo gets the decision on the cards. I think it's going to be like a split or majority decision, like 115, 113, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I think Canelo will win. Vegas will give him the dub, even if we think Bud won on the cards. Vegas ain't going to give it to him. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, and we're having a post-fight show. So remember to join us right after the final bell rings when they read the scorecards and it's controversial as hell. Come and join us because we're going to break it all down. But it's like, I want Bud to win. And I just don't see him hurting Canelo. Like, I don't. Because, like, he wasn't able to hurt Madrimov, dude. And so Canelo's got one of the best chins in boxing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard for me. I'm rooting for Bud, but I'm gonna place my money on Canelo, and I'm also gonna place my money on the draw because it's like the draw. Like, what is the draw? I think like I saw it for like a plus like 1,000 or something like that. Like I'm not at like
1300.
I'm placing $100 on that. I'm
100.
just
I'm not
I
gonna
am.
I
I've
ain't
been
placing
betting kind of big
bet
lately.
100 on anything in this fight.
I've been betting heavy lately.
We'll talk exact method of victory, and then we'll get to comments because we have a bunch. And please keep them coming. As Shantelle mentioned, we'll have a post-fight show after the fight. Canelo Alvarez to win by knockout 1,000, technical knockout 600. We'll ignore the DQ. I don't think Terence Crawford's going to hit him in the balls deliberately several times.
No.
Canelo by split decision, by unanimous decisions plus 190. I don't think there's real value there.
Yeah.
By split decision plus 600 is very interesting because of the reasons you mentioned. Canelo Alvarez tends to get favorable judging, be it in the Miguel Cotto fight, where the judges saw a much more one-sided fight than the rest of us did, or Erislandy Lara, where some people think Canelo Alvarez should have straight up lost, or Dimitri Bivol, where the judges had it 115, 113 at a fight that Canelo Alvarez clearly didn't win more than maybe 3 rounds, maybe, probably 2. The first 2 Triple G fights where Canelo Alvarez probably could have lost both. Definitely the first one, but probably both. Floyd Mayweather, the famous, I think it was CJ Ross card, 114, 114 for a fight that we all saw was 9-3 Floyd at least. Like this has just happened. This has just been a theme with Canelo throughout his career. I don't think Canelo Alvarez is paying off judges. I don't want to say that his team is, but you know, he does get favorable scorecards from at least one judge out of the 3, and that one could obviously swing the fight unless Terence Crawford dominates. I think he can do enough to win, though. I think he can do enough to win. I do worry. See, he's older than Canelo Alvarez, but he's fought 41 times versus Canelo Alvarez is 67. Canelo's fought a lot more rounds than Terence Crawford has. Canelo Alvarez has been a pro 3 years longer. He's been a pro for 20 years. So he has 67 fights in 20 years. And Terence Crawford has 41 fights in 17 years. And he's been fighting once a year since 2020. So this will be the 5th or 6th time that he's just fighting once in a year, because the last time he fought twice in a year was 2019, which I bring up all the time, Amir Khan and Meme Machine. And I know he's smaller, but we've seen guys go up. Like we've seen Roy Jones Jr. happen, for example. We've seen, I mean, until Felix Trinidad ran into Bernard Hopkins, but we saw him sort of quickly jump from, I mean, he had a brief stint at 154, but he went from 147 damn near straight to 160 and knocked out William Joppy, who was like a real dude at the time.
Yeah. I'll say this though, with him gaining weight, I think Bud's going to be ready, but at the same time, it's like I also think inactivity does catch up to you at some point. And Bud's not like the most active boxer, but he's been preparing for this for like a year, right? He fights like once a year, and then it's like you're putting on, you're jumping, you jumped up to 1 weight class, and then you're jumping up to 2 weight classes. But it's like you don't actually know how your body is in the ring when you jump off that many weight classes. Like you don't, are you still going to be smooth? Like Terence Crawford is like super smooth and elusive as well in the ring, right? Is he still going to have that aspect? Like he's that weight gain. It's like, how do you move around in the ring? I think Bud's going to be fine, but at the same time, like we don't know, we're going to see it for the first time. Whereas like Canelo, he's been a little bit more active, and this is his weight class, right? So here's the thing though. I think Bud has the power to also hurt Canelo though. He has that factor. And at the same time, like we haven't really seen Canelo hurt anybody in a minute. Like when was the last, you know what I mean? Like he's dropped a few guys, but he hasn't hurt nobody. So it's like, I mean, the last guy was Caleb Plant. That was years ago.
I never thought he was gonna like when he dropped Berlanga, I was like, Berlanga's gonna get up and keep fighting.
Well, we knew Berlanga was gonna get dropped. Like, let's be serious.
We bet on it. You know, we bet on the knock because Berlanga's chinny.
Yeah.
Jaime Munguia You know, like
You could say he's shitty too. He's been dropped.
the thing with these dudes, Jermell Charlo, and that's an example of somebody jumping up 2 weight classes, and he didn't win any part of that fight. But what I would tell you is Terence Crawford, I think, is much better than Jermell Charlo. 1, 2.
Oh my
I don't
God.
think
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna fight the way Jermell Charlo did, where Jermell Charlo looked disinterested in that fight after a while.
But he's also not going to fight like William School. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. I think where Canelo will have trouble is when Bud switches to southpaw. He's a switch hitter.
And he's gonna do it right away because lately
Yeah.
he's just been southpaw damn near. And Canelo Alvarez struggled cutting off the ring against Williams School in a way where he looked especially flat-footed. Is that something that's gonna carry over?
I don't think Canelo is going to have luck cutting off the ring against Bud either, though. Like, I think Bud has a very high IQ. Like, he reels you in. His timing and accuracy is everything. And so that's why I think there's going to be a lot of swing rounds. And we're going to be looking at this on X, on Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. And okay, yeah, let's rock with that. And you're going to be seeing people saying that Canelo's won that round or Bud's won that round. Like it's going to be a mix. This is going to be honestly, Brian, like I said, my heart's with Bud. I hope he wins on the cards because I don't think there will be a stoppage, but I think it's going to go to Canelo. Here's how I think it's going to go. Like if I was rigging this, I would I would have the first fight be a draw. I would then have Canelo win by split decision in the second fight. I would then have Bud win by unanimous decision in the third fight. Then make them both sail off into the sunset. That's how I would have
Or
it.
fight a 4th time because Canelo has a 4-fight deal. Although I think he has 3 fights left on that 4-fight deal.
Yeah. All I know is that like it's a legacy fight. I think it's hella dope. No, that's how I would have it if I was reading this. I think it's hella dope, and I think we're seeing 2 of the best of this decade, of this generation. And I think we're going to get a really good fight. I think both these guys are going to put on a show because I think
I
that's
disagree
the thing
with that part.
Okay, so we had a comment about this possibly being like a sparring match. Do you believe this could be boring?
We'll get to it. I just wanna because I will.
Well, we got to get to it quickly because I got to leave soon.
I will get to that in the comments. Just want to note real quick because we had it up. Terence Crawford by knockout is plus 1900. So that's a knockout, not a technical knockout. Technical knockout plus 1300. To him by unanimous decision. Terence Crawford plus 330. We're very skeptical that happens, but we think he can earn it. He just probably won't actually get it from the judges if that's the case. Split decision plus 900. Love that. Majority decision plus 1300. Love that. I think either guy by majority or split decision makes a ton of sense.
One more thing though. Do you think Crawford's speed will be too much for Canelo? Because we've seen Canelo like there's been a little bit of a downward spiral for him in a sense where we can see the drop off. Like he's not the same Canelo. Like we can admit that, right?
We have to. Canelo's diehard fans, who I know are like, if they find us, they're gonna just tear us apart. Probably
not really, because I'm saying I'm literally saying Canelo.
They're not hearing that shit. They're hearing you say you think Crawford is gonna win. They're hearing me say I think Crawford's gonna win.
But I just said Canelo is gonna win, or it could be a draw.
Yeah, but it's tongue in cheek kind of. But regardless, like I think even if you're a Canelo diehard and this is your guy, you have to acknowledge like he's just not the same as he was 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like ever since the Dimitri Bivol fight, he hasn't quite been the same dude. And this is why a lot of people have been pissed about the matchmaking and him not fighting Dave Benavidez is a glaring example. And I was saying 2 years ago, I'm like, Dave Benavidez will beat him at this stage, like the way he's looked as of late. He should have really finished John Ryder. John Ryder's the guy that he really should have finished. I know Ryder had only been stopped once prior to
he was coming back from hand surgery though, or like wrist surgery. So
yeah,
like,
but remember what I told you? Like the ring in Mexico, that shit looked tiny on TV. And
yeah, but at the same time, like let's be serious. Like Bud should have stopped Madrimov. Like his KO.
No, I disagree because I think Madrimov is better at 154 than Ryder ever was at 168.
No, I agree with that. But when you're coming back from like a surgery of like your hand, like I don't think there's confidence in that, right?
So
like,
why are you fighting then?
Okay, but you're still because you're Canelo Alvarez. Have you ever broken a bone before?
Yeah.
What did you break?
My wrist when I was really young, though.
Okay, and were you playing sport? Okay, so this doesn't count.
I don't even remember how I broke it. I just remember being in the hospital.
I broke my ankle. I broke my ankle before, and I even now when I play rec basketball, even though I still drop 15 and 5 and go home, no defense though. I will say this: when I go up for like a layup and I land, like I still think in my head, like, yo, am I gonna break my ankle? Like I still have that fear in my head. Like, and this is like 15 years later. I still have that fear. Like my ankle is not the same. And it's like you need your power in your hand. So it's like Canelo didn't get the stoppage, but he dominated every round. Right. But we haven't seen
Well,
him
not the
like
last two. John Ryder fucking came to life in the last couple rounds of that fight.
Canelo was probably like,
But
whatever.
still,
You know what I mean?
whatever.
You know what I'm trying
Let's
to say
do
here.
comments. We're long overdue. Jesus
Yeah.
says if it's a real bout, Crawford wins easy, hurts fake Nello. But if it's a sparring session, snoozer, it's a draw.
Okay, so you get to this though. Like, do you think it's gonna be a snoozer?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a boring fight.
Why? Tell
Most
me
likely.
why.
Because I don't think Canelo is like
Motivated?
do you think Canelo Alvarez's fights against Berlanga and Munguia and William School were exciting? And the last Golovkin fight?
Can I say this?
And
I
John
think
Ryder?
can I say this? I think Canelo is just like he's accomplished so much and he's done so much that now he's like bored. I swear, I swear. I think Canelo's just like, oh, I better just get in here and make
This
some
is the
like
last
money.
dude I want to
You
be
know what I
bored
mean?
against.
I know, no, but I don't think he will
I
though,
also
because
think
it's like legacies are on the line here.
but I think stylistically also, Terence Crawford's going to be more defensive. He's going to try to be a counterpuncher. And because Canelo Alvarez doesn't cut off the ring like he used to, I think it could, like, there's going to be stretches where it's like, oh, brother, like, what the fuck? You know? But I think Terence Crawford will ultimately push the envelope if he has to, though. Like, he'll get activated and then just like, he threw 400, I think it was 433 punches against Madrimov. That's still 36 punches per round.
Yeah.
That's still 12 punches a minute. Like, that's still reasonable output.
But is
Way
also
more than
accurate.
Canelo did in his last fight.
Bud is also accurate too, right? And Bud's one of those guys that will take a chance. Bud will take a chance and get hit, and at the same time have the best timing and land one on you. Like he's one of those. He's a very crafty fighter, Bud. And so I think we all agree that he also has the power aspect of it. And I'm trying to think if Canelo has faced someone with the power that Bud has. Because I think Bud,
I mean, he's fought bigger guys. He had to.
Yeah.
Like I would. I don't know if Bud is like a harder puncher than like Jaime Munguia, but he's a better boxer. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's hard to say because it's in a different weight class. Like at 147, yeah, he's got. I think Bud had devastating power.
Yeah, that's different though.
Right.
Like I can't compare Bud to like Sergey Kovalev.
No,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
but that's the thing. He's jumping up weight classes. Wasn't able to hurt Madrimov. Will he be able to hurt Canelo? That's the big question for me. I don't know.
Marlon 2631. Canelo says, I mean, Canelo fans, y'all have 2 days left. Prepare to cry. What's up, my people? We know who Marlon's riding with in this one. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more says salute. Mateo says, I got a lot of close rounds, but I got Crawford getting the early rounds and Canelo heating up later. Crawford by split decision. You have it the reverse. And I think I'm on your side where I think because Crawford is not always a fast starter. Not that
Canelo isn't either.
Well, he dropped Munguia and dropped Berlanga both in like round 3, round 4-ish. Ryder was a little later. Charlo was in the middle, like round 7-ish, something along those lines. So like I think the first couple rounds could be really slow.
I think the first couple rounds are gonna be boring as fuck. Okay, like these two guys are gonna be giving each other a lot of respect. I don't even cuss on this podcast very much, but I think the first few rounds are gonna be very boring, Brian.
Mateo
like the first 3 rounds, boring.
Mateo also says, I can't see Bud bullying like Bivol in the second half of that fight. See, if he did that, then that would tell me Canelo was just straight up washed. I'd be surprised if that happens because I thought some of that with Bivol was also the sides.
Well, that's the thing. I think Canelo has like, and if anyone talks to him about Bivol, he'll be like, well, I was moving up in weight. Like he has that excuse, right? And Bivol's like the best though in that weight class.
Yeah, they didn't think so ahead of time. They were
right?
like,
I mean, we knew that. I bet on Bivol in that fight. I bet on Bivol in that fight to beat Canelo.
Smart. Listen, Crawford. I'll say this about the size too. Crawford is still taller. It's not by much, but he's still taller. Canelo's like 5'7.5".
And the wingspan too. Crawford's wingspan is crazy.
This is the key. His reach is 74 inches. Canelo's is like 70 and a half. Which means Crawford has a 6'2" inch reach. he has the reach of somebody who would standard will be 6'2", despite being like 5'8", maybe 5'9". Whereas Canelo's reach is about 5'10" and a half. And I think that's gonna matter.
Hey, yeah, this is funny.
Canelo told
wait.
Doug Fisher that 13 fights are not on his pro resume. Did he?
Okay.
That doesn't make me feel great about
Coach
wear and
Mario
tear.
and me kind of have similar sentiments. Read that out there, Brian.
Coach Mario says this fight's going to suck. You watch, ends in a draw. I could 100,000 million% see that happening.
I've said it, like it's not gonna be unanimous.
Jesus, what is this in reference to? Brian, it's called boxing, not too big. What do you mean?
Because we kind of talking about size.
I think size matters, but I also think size is overrated. Like,
pause.
I think
I had to do it. I was being immature today, guys. You didn't even do it. You were being serious.
I also shouldn't be the person. I also shouldn't be the person saying that. You should be the person saying that, if anything. I think
it's funnier because you said it. That's why it was hilarious.
I think as it pertains to because ultimately, like, if you're good enough, you could overcome the size difference. And I think the case for anybody saying Crawford's going to win this is that they're saying Crawford's just better and the size won't matter. And if you're saying Canelo's going to win this, you're saying he's still good enough or that he's better and the size is not, and the size is going to mean everything. And to me, in this specific example, I think Canelo Alvarez, like, the size advantage is there in terms of like the sheer strength, I suppose. But I think Terence Crawford could overcome that. And I think Terence Crawford is one of the only dudes who I think could overcome that in this way. Like, Inoue is another one where if he goes up a certain weight and maybe takes a couple less chances, is like 10% less of a crowd pleaser. Yeah, I think he can get it done against some of the bigger guys too. Not necessarily 135, but obviously 126, 130.
If you're in the comments, drop them. Let us know how you're going to be betting this one. Also, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on our social media channels. You guys, there's any final thoughts?
Usyk did it against Tyson Fury, by the way, and has done it against all the other heavyweights he's fought. Like, we're talking about a 14-pound difference. Usyk had to overcome more than that against some of these guys.
I think Usyk's like in a lane of his own, though, because of the way he fights and how skilled he is and how he moves around the ring, because he's not one-dimensional. He's very crafty, hard to beat. I mean, he's one of the he's pound for pound number one in my books right now. But we're seeing, listen, if Bud gets it done against Canelo and does it in like a statement, like it's gonna be madness.
If he rocks Canelo, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna be like, what?
I'm gonna like lose my mind. I won't even be on the post-fight show.
but then if we work backwards, if he rocks Canelo, like just rocks him or whatever, we'll work backwards to be like, oh yeah, see, the miles finally caught up to Canelo in like a real way.
Yeah, and I think that's what it will be. I'm very excited for this fight because I thought it was a dream fight, but it's going down. Join us for the post-fight show, guys. We will be rocking with you after the final bell, and you can join us, talk to us about the fight. We'll be taking your comments. Also, if you're watching this after the fact, please drop your comments. Let us know how you're going to be betting this fight. Now, we got to get to another big fight because one of the biggest boxers in the world, one of the best athletes in the world, Naoya Inoue, is also going to be getting into the ring this weekend against a fight that we've been waiting to see for a very long time against Akhmadaliev. And we've been waiting for this, Brian. The storylines were always there. Akhmadaliev didn't do his part. Inoue always did, but now we're finally getting it. And we're getting it a few hours after the post-fight show is going to end, honestly. Because this is going to be like 4 a.m. on the West Coast. So 7 a.m. Eastern time where, Inoue is going to be taking the ring. Crazy. How are you betting this fight? Like, do we still think Akhmadaliev has it? Because that's the question.
Sure. I don't think he's like washed or whatever because he lost to Marlon Tapales before it looked like we were going to get this fight before. But I don't think, like, even at that time, like we had a discussion on the show where you were like, yeah, this is a fight that a lot of people are waiting for. And I was kind of like, I think Inoue is going to beat him too. Now, admittedly, since then, Inoue's faced some turbulence a little bit. And I feel like it's because he wants to like make sure he sends people home happy, so to speak. But immediately after that fight where he knocks out Marlon Tapales. And we're looking around for like, okay, who's he going to fight next? He gets dropped by Luis Neri. And I weirdly expected it as I was watching the fight. I was like, he doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes when you watch boxing long enough, and those of you who do will back me up on this, you have at times a fight starts and you're looking at one guy who's like typically awesome, great, maybe a big favorite, and you almost feel the upset a little bit, where you feel like something's about to happen. You're like, huh, like this is different. You know what I mean? Was it Joe Smith against Fonfara years ago where I felt
Oh my
that?
God.
I was
Yeah.
watching Fonfara and I've known Joe Smith, having covered him prior, here in New York. And I remember looking at that and I'm like, I think Joe Smith is going to win this fight. And he knocks him out in the first round. Like, it was just one of those. So in that fight with Inoue and Neri, Inoue, like, it starts and I'm like, he doesn't look as sharp. And then he gets dropped. And then he kind of wakes up. Like, round 2 happens, and then it's like, oh, okay. Like, immediately you feel it. You're like, oh, okay, he locked in. It's like that. It's like the Felix Trinidad where he would get knocked down all the time, like in the first round or early on in the fight.
Ooh. We got a comment here from a good friend of the show, Afro Soul. MJ will upset Inoue this weekend. That's a bold ass prediction. Tell us why, Afro Soul, because you've also made some comments before about some fights and been right. I'll just say that Afro Soul's been on point in the past. Sorry to cut you off there. I was surprised because I think Inoue is gonna knock out Akhmadaliev.
I'm not that surprised because I do think there are people who are like, and this is what I'm saying. Like, he got dropped by Neri, he got dropped by Cardenas, and the Cardenas one was the only one where I felt like that's the only Inoue fight I've
That
seen
was
where
like one of the best fights this year, though.
I
I
felt like
love that fight.
I felt like in that one he was in actual danger, because when he got dropped, it was again early on in the fight. It was in round 2, and then I'm like, okay, now Inoue is going to turn it up, and I'm 4 or 5 rounds in, and I'm like, this is still a really close fight. This is still very even, and Cardenas isn't going away, and then Inoue starts turning the tide and eventually finishes him. But like, we came away from that being like, yo, Ramon Cardenas, like, he pushed Inoue like we've never seen him push before.
But here's the thing, though. I think in those 2 fights, we learned that Inoue wasn't superhuman, right? I think when you're a great skilled boxer, you get dropped and you're resilient and you figure it out. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think. And so when that happened to Inoue, I figured out he could get dropped and come back and still get the knockout, right? Still get the stoppage. And so that tells me how great he is. So I don't take that as a knock. Like, at some point we knew he was going to get dropped, right? But here's the thing about Akhmadaliev. He's very crafty. He's a southpaw, and also he's a great body puncher. So in this fight, he's going to be trying to get to the body of Inoue, and Inoue's fighting a southpaw, and it's going to make things really interesting. But I do think that Inoue is going to be able to cut the ring off against a guy like Akhmadaliev. Inoue's also a great body puncher, has amazing liver shots. And I think the power is going to be too much for a guy like Akhmadaliev, but I think it's going to be close for at least the first 6 rounds. Like, I would have Inoue winning between rounds 7 through 12 in this fight. And maybe even later, I would take a look at rounds 10 through 12 as well, because Akhmadaliev is tough. But I just think Inoue is more skilled, has the better power. And regardless of what happens, Inoue will eventually figure you out. It happened with Cardenas. Like, he had some trouble in that fight, but he ended up figuring it out. And that's how great Inoue is. And Afro Soul, I know you're rocking with MJ. And Bryan, you said you're not surprised about that, but I don't think this is the fight that Inoue is going to lose. Like, I wouldn't bet my money on him losing this fight.
You know what's crazy? I just realized I was at Akhmadaliev's debut. Apparently, I forgot about this. He made his pro debut March 10th at the King's Theater in Brooklyn. King's Theater in Brooklyn. Yeah, I went to a couple things out there in 2018. He made his debut, got a first round stoppage there. The main event was Josue Vargas. So there's that. I don't know if Inoue is going to stop him. I don't know. I think he can, obviously.
I mean, look what Marlon Tapales did to Akhmadaliev. Like, what are we talking about here?
He didn't stop him though, and that was
But he made him look real bad.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't great. He didn't stop him, but in a way, it's also like in a way, it's a different like. He's the dude who like, oh, you've never been stopped. Cool, got that. Like, I can do that.
Let me check that off my list.
You know, Terence Crawford's there. Like, those are those types of punchers. Those types of punchers. Shea Mosley was like this. Felix Trinidad was like this. Miguel Cotto was like this. Is so on and so forth. So many others that I could think of right now. I think with Manny Pacquiao actually during his peak. I think with the odds, this is too much. Inoue should not be minus 1250. That's crazy. That's too much juice. Like,
yeah, I don't agree with the odds.
I don't think Akhmadaliev is going to win this fight. I don't think Inoue should be favored by this much, though. It makes me not want to bet it. If we're looking by method, Inoue is minus 290 to stop him, and I'm not even.
What is group round betting? Rounds 7 through 12 and rounds 10 through 12. That's where I would place my money, guys.
Just to read all this off, Inoue by points is 380. Akhmadaliev by points is 1500. Which I think if you want
minus 1500
plus 1500. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
okay, wait. So to Inoue to win by points is plus 380.
Yes.
Okay.
By stoppage is minus 290.
Okay.
They can't make them both minuses because then that would be like really unfair. And then Akhmadaliev by stoppage is plus 850, which I think some people will be interested in that just because we've seen it Inoue dropped a couple times. I think to your point though, the resilience is there and he understands. Both times he got knocked down, he took the whole 8 count and then got to his feet. He didn't rush back up.
Which is smart because like usually when you get dropped for the first time, and if you've ever even sparred and you got dropped, like you want to immediately get up. Right. Like I remember the first time I got dropped, I panicked and I was like, I gotta get up, but I was like not there. So,
right.
And you know how I fight. Like I'll take a lot of hits, right? So like it's like the fact that you like stay down for most of the 8 count, like 98% of it, that is smart. Take your time. And so I think Inoue did that both times, but at the same time, we're thinking, oh my God, he's down. Is he gonna get up? I love the fact that he came back.
It shows you how composed he is in those moments, which to me says a lot. It's not like Zab Judah, where he famously got dropped by Kasasu, rushed back up, dropped back down to his feet. Is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It's old as fuck, so you've probably seen it. But if you haven't seen that, that's from a long ass time ago. I'm making old references here for somebody who's like barely in their 30s. Group round betting.
Mm-hmm.
Inoue 7 to 9 is plus 250. Inoue 10 to 12 is plus 340. Ooh. And do we have alternate group round betting or no? Not yet. Doesn't look like we have it yet. We do. Okay. Sometimes in rounds. 7 to 12 plus 100.
So people, okay.
They're on to you.
They know what I'm gonna do, guys. Okay, so let's go to the alternate group round betting. I want to see like 10 through 12 or 9 through 12. Sorry.
9 through 12 will be group 3 usually. Yeah, 9 to 12 is plus 200. Oh,
I like that one.
Double the price, and you.
But it's not like that. But that's not like that much value. Like it should be like plus 360 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you want to bet it, so they ain't gonna give it to you like that.
Because it's smart, right? It's smart. Like let's be serious. Vegas is trying to hustle us right here, but that's where I would place my money.
I like. So now you're in a way total knockdowns. 1 or more is minus 310. If you think he's gonna get the stoppage, like 2 or more plus 100 feels safe. I'm not sure. I feel like he does drop Akhmadaliev maybe, but I could see this go. Like I'm tempted by the decision at plus 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why would you not bet on that if you think that Inoue's not gonna get the stoppage?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it happens in rounds 9 through 12.
I think Inoue wins. I think I don't want to say people have overrated Akhmadaliev, but like I do think like people have positioned him as like, oh, this is the guy Inoue has to beat. And I'm like, is it really? Like I feel like I mean he beat the guy that beat him already in Tapales, and I know that was an upset. So people have been wanting this fight. But to me, I'm like, while acknowledging that this is going to sound contradictory because I don't think he should be as much of a favorite as he is, like minus 1250. I think I would place at like minus like
600,
700. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still also don't think like this is like a hurdle that he needs for legitimacy, for any form of legitimacy.
If I'm being honest, I don't think Inoue has to legitimately do anything at this point. I think he has a Hall of Fame boxing career, and when I'll say this, when he takes care of Akhmadaliev, because I think there's a skill difference between these two guys. I'm not trying to hate on Akhmadaliev. I do think the odds are disrespectful to him, but I think once Inoue takes care of him, look to Nakatani. That's the fight.
Nakatani's the fight.
Like,
We're seeing
and then if he
more.
gets it done against Nakatani, like what can you say about him? And there's some people that also like don't like Inoue's resume, which is crazy because you can only fight the guys who are in your division.
Yeah, it's funny. That could be a lack of familiarity with guys in the lighter weight classes, but he's beaten top ranked dudes over and over. He's also been fighting for world titles since his 6th pro fight.
This is like 4 weight classes. Like he's done it like in 4 weight classes and beat all the best guys in those weight classes. And here's the thing, it's like once Bam moves up and like Inoue's gonna get Inoue's like sneakily getting old. Like that's what
32. Look, he's 30. He's gonna be 33 in April.
I just want to appreciate watching him in the ring. Like, I think for me, it's like I don't know how much longer Inoue is going to be fighting for, because we say that he's going to jump up to 126, but I don't even think he has to. Like, I think if he wanted to, he could fight Nakatani and sail off into the sunset.
He could do it now and be a Hall of Famer immediately. But like, yo, his first pro fight, was in 2012. Okay. And
I'll say one more thing. When we talk about the greatest fighters of this generation, Inoue is there. When we talk about one of the best athletes of this even athletes, like Inoue is there. Like just in a general aspect, like this guy is so entertaining, and I don't know why regular media doesn't talk about him enough. It blows my mind. But that shouldn't be a thing, man.
It shouldn't.
You know what I mean?
It shouldn't. We listen. We advocate for people of all types to get the respect that they deserve all the time. I think with Inoue, it's just that he's Japanese. It's just that he's Asian. That's why people here are kind of like, that's literally it. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally it. I think and because he's in the lighter, like the really lightweight classes that, a lot of people internationally, if you look at the population of people, like the percentage of people that watch welterweights versus the people that watch like flyweights, the flyweights are probably more watched internationally because you'll have a lot of champions from like Japan, from the Philippines, from the islands,
it's the best. These are the best weight classes, like bantamweight, flyweight, strawweight. Like, to me, it's my favorite weight classes. Yeah, and some of my favorite fighters come from those weight classes. Like Chocolatito's like one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Chocolatito's a good example because a lot of people never even heard of him until he fought on the Triple G cards.
Blows my mind,
which is crazy. It's crazy to us, but like from a mainstream standpoint, it's like, where are you learning about Chocolatito if you're just like a casual boxing fan before that?
I just be trying to bring him up for no reason. Like one of my friends, she was dating a Nicaraguan guy, and I'm like, Chocolatito's for Nicaragua. I just be trying to bring him up for no reason. They're like, who's Chocolatito? I'm like, who is Chocolatito? Let me tell you about Chocolatito. Like he's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Those weight classes are so fun to watch.
Inoue's pro debut was October 2012. He fights for his first world title April of 2014. He's 20 years old at this point. It was right before he turns 21. All of his fights since then have been in world title fights, which is to say, so he's 30-0 now. That means he's 25-0 in world title fights. 25 straight fights. And look at so this is the resume that we're talking about. Omar Narvaez was actually a real dude. He knocked him out in the 2nd round and just destroyed him. Juan Carlos Baiano. Was this not for a title, or was this for a WBA title? And it's just not here. It might have been for a WBA title because he also won a Super Series. Juan Carlos Baiano, that knockout was sick.
Keep in mind, guys, BoxRec doesn't acknowledge the WBA, so that's probably why we're not seeing it on there.
Because they be bullshitting. Manny Rodriguez, who I love and I'm high on, he destroyed him in 2 rounds. I remember watching this when I was at another fight because it was on at the same time because it was going down in the UK. I don't remember what fight was it, but like there was another fight going on that I was covering at the time, and I'm blanking on it right now. It's probably not that important.
Mm.
Nonito Donaire, that was one where he got injured, and then in the rematch he destroyed him. Jason Maloney, who we had on the show to talk about this.
Great guy.
Yeah, destroyed him, and
And
then
then he destroyed Nonito Donaire. And let's be real here. Like Nonito Donaire was a king of that division for a very, very long time. Like let's put some respect on Donaire's name. Very, very fun fight. And he destroyed him in that second fight.
Oh, the fight that I was at was Deontay Wilder and Dominic Brazil. I remember
That's the one.
this.
Paul Butler destroyed Paul Butler.
That was before Deontay Wilder, before the fight. I have a video of him saying that he wants to kill Dominic Brazil. Like he wants to that's like the I want a body on my record era. Deontay Wilder, which is fucking ridiculous. Paul Butler, who didn't want to fight. Stephen Fulton, Marlon Tapales, Luis Neri. Like, I mean, Ramon Cardenas, who's like a real win now. I don't know who's the guy that like he's quote unquote avoided necessarily.
I don't think he's avoided anybody. But remember, they were saying that Akhmadaliev didn't happen. That was more just like they just couldn't come to an agreement. And then Akhmadaliev
Bob Arum was like, "Who the fuck is that? Who do you want?"
And then also Akhmadaliev then loses to Tapales. And so like he didn't hold up his end of the bargain.
Correct.
Right. And Casemiro, it's like I think people want that fight to happen, but now it's like, does it really matter?
Yeah. I think the one for me is just Nakatani, because that's just sell out the Tokyo Dome. Bam less so, just because like I have doubts about like the weight coming together. I feel like if the money is there, the money's there, and I would obviously love to see that. But like, what weight do you even do that at? I suppose 118, maybe. But if Inoue wants to drop back down, but they're not that close in weight right now, Inoue and Bam Rodriguez. So I think with Inoue, like if he's going to be closer to 126 at some point, then yeah, I don't know how we get the Bam Rodriguez fight, because Bam's still at 115, and I know it's only 7 pounds, but it's multiple weight classes. It's different for them guys down there. So
yeah, for sure. But guys, let us know who you're going to be taking in this fight. I'm going to be taking Inoue by stoppage. Brian, your thoughts on this? How are you betting this one?
Inoue, I don't know how yet. If I want to be a coward, I can just do a Inoue Bud parlay that won't win because Bud gets robbed on the cards.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless
Canelo can win the fight, though. To be fair, like look, this is the hardest puncher Terence Crawford's, gonna see. I mean, who is the hardest puncher Terence Crawford's fought? Is it Spence? Spence, right? Spence couldn't even hurt him.
Oh my god!
It's probably Spence.
Mean Machine.
It's probably Spence.
But Mean Machine kind of like shook him a little bit. Remember that?
He low-key dropped him, but they didn't
like
call it.
Kind of shook him a little. I would say Mean Machine. Anyways, guys, let us know how you're going to be betting this fight. Drop it in the comments. Also, join us for the post-fight show for Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. We'll be hanging out, kicking it with you. And then on Monday, we are going to be breaking down the Inoue fight. We would have done it like on, Sunday morning, but like it's just too crazy. And so we're going to be doing it on Monday. So don't worry, Inoue fans. We got you covered. Unless something changes, we'll let you know on the post-fight show. Brian, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Gamboa was the other one I was thinking of, Afro. So who mentions him in the comments? Because people got to remember, before Gamboa was washed, Gamboa was like a real dude. And they were both undefeated when they fought. Like that was like Crawford's first big fight. He had the title already. I think he had already beaten Ricky Burns. But that was like the first, like, I remember on HBO, I was like hyped for that shit. And then they had like low-key a war, and then he fucked up Yuriokas Gamboa. It's still one of my favorite Terence Crawford performances. But enjoy the fights. We'll see how good they are. The Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez undercard also. Sorry.
I'm probably going to be like eating plantain chips and not paying attention. Because it's like also like college football. What I always eat plantain chips before. Well, I'm watching. Come on, you got to eat something. Like, who doesn't like plantain chips? You like plantain. You must. Kyle, you're Puerto Rican.
I don't. Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
I don't eat chips like that, but yeah, I mean.
No, but if you were going to eat chips, would you not eat plantain chips?
Sure. I mean, there's one fight on the undercard, two fights on the undercard I think are interesting. Is Christian and Billy Lester Martinez, Callum Walsh, Fernando Vargas Jr.
Oh no, I'm going to be watching that fight for sure.
Yeah.
and enjoying
But
content.
they're you talk about the fight not being promoted well. Timothy Bradley went on a rant about this. They sucked at promoting the undercard. Also, by the way, I have a fight preview for this fight on my channel. Also, it's 4 parts with film and all that shit. So go check that out on my channel as well if you have time.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Saturday. Join us for the post-fight show. Thanks so much for rocking with us, and hit that like and subscribe button.